Most of you know me from my travels to Budapest, Germany, and Korea, Seoul. And I don't know how many of those participants are here, who have met me and have seen me. But I know that it's a journey that we have been on since a while. I've been with Life Farm since over 8 years, and I'm on their scientific advisory board. I'm a medical doctor, but I turned holistic over 22 years ago. So now I have an Ayurvedic practice here in New York, where I'm based. And today I'm here to share some very important information with you. And I'd like to start off with talking about something that we were all, a part of from literally January 2020 to a couple of years after that, right? And there are still cases of COVID, 19, which we hear about. I have many friends and family members who keep getting it. And so we thought that it would be a great idea to talk about, what we are actually in right now and how we can actually protect ourselves. So I want to give you some stats. The statistics are that 14.9 million people literally lost their lives globally. That's a huge figure. And almost 57% of the deaths, excess deaths, were in males. 43% of excess deaths were in females. And I do want to pray for all those people, the families, everyone who lost their loved one. May God give them a special place in heaven. And we pray for them, for their families, give them strength and courage, for what they went through. It was just something utterly, devastating for everyone. But many people survived. And I do want to acknowledge that, it wasn't something that you take for granted, but you do need to give yourself a pat on the back. You definitely do, because you survived this catastrophe. And there is a scientific explanation for that. Your immune system kept you going, and you had a good nutritional status. Your bodies were strong. You were mentally, mind, body, spirit strong, literally, and you were able to combat that. And I think it was an important eye-opener for many people who belong to the medical world and to the scientific world, that we were not really prepared, right? So literally, sometimes when things happen, you have certain things you actually learn from. So our experiences are telling us that we need to have better communication in our scientific world, and we need to have better medical facilities, which can actually help us out if that ever happens again. Right? So we are going to talk about a little in this presentation about what are the problems, and then let's find the solution. So what are we facing? We got vaccines, right? So there are post-vaccine effects. There's also long-term COVID-19 effects, and we're going to look at them. So the post-vaccine effects, there are some common side effects, which I think many of you know about. Remember the pain at the injection site? That's something that you immediately get. And I remember with this vaccine, the pain was a wee bit more than it should have been. And then after the vaccine, there were symptoms like fatigue and headache, pain in the muscles and joints. Some people even got fever and chills, and some people got a lot of swelling, which stayed for a few days as well. Now, there was also a little concern for people who already have allergies. And I know people who suffer from asthma or who have different allergens, right, that they are sensitive to. They were actually immediately showing symptoms like difficulty in breathing, and more like anaphylaxis, like a shock, where you feel that you are going to suffocate, and you start coughing, you start having wheezing, and they had those. Now, some people unfortunately got inflammation of the lungs, inflammation of the heart. Uh, for heart, it's myocarditis, pericarditis, especially with the mRNA vaccines. And then we heard about some people uh, getting a shot and even losing their lives. And I have a friend whose husband died, and the doctors pointed to the fact that it led to a blood clotting disorder. So those were the stories. And when you look at this diagram, I want you to look at this. It's an interesting timeline. So these are the COVID-19 infection sort of sequels. And if you look initially, okay, let's start with 0 week where you get the infection, SARS-CoV-2 infection starts, and obviously all the symptoms are there. And for 4 weeks, the symptoms are staying there. That is your initial infection, and then your recovery period. For most people, 4 weeks. Now, if it goes beyond 4 weeks and moves on to 12 weeks, which is almost like 3 months, right? That's called post-acute COVID-19. And there are people who got that. And then we come to the third one, which is also under the umbrella of the long COVID, which means that the symptoms carried on beyond the 12 weeks. And I know people who are still complaining of symptoms like brain fog or, headaches, pain in the muscles and joints. So these are the different sort of, let's call it transitions or a journey that that virus takes. And there's a little, writing over there. And for people who might be doctors on this, a conference or this webinar, or who are from the fields of like being a nurse or a paramedical. So ACE2, associated system damage, what we're talking about here is that we have certain receptors in the body, which are the ACE inhibitors and ACE2 basically they are the ACE2 receptors. And, they're like these acetylcholine type receptors. But these receptors are found in different parts of your body. They could be in the lungs, in the heart, in the kidneys, or in the brain. And the COVID virus, with its structure, would actually get stuck to these, with its receptors, would get stuck to this receptor, which is already found in our body, the ACE2. And what it would do is get entry into your cell. So literally attacking the organ wherever these ACE2 receptors are, and then damaging them, causing injury, which was what happened with many people, who got the, the infection, and then all of a sudden got renal failure, or they got myocarditis, or they got some other, sort of effects in their lungs, like pneumonia. So what were the symptoms of COVID-19 infection? Well, I think for anyone who's on this webinar who remembers, there was fatigue, shortness of breath, brain fog. This was common: chest pain, joint muscle pains, headaches, heart palpitations. So these are the common ones. Let's look at some of the less common ones. Not everybody lost their sense of taste or smell, and not everybody had sleep disturbances. And the diarrhea and also vomiting, nausea, they were not with everyone. So skin rashes, a very rare one. And pain in the throat, I think, was still a little common, but still not in everyone. So now we look at this graph, which is telling us about the demographics. And it's interesting to see, if you look at it right now, you see that older people are getting this viral infection more so than the younger ones. And that's what the age group is showing us. So the vulnerability was in the senior age group people. And you must have heard about what happened in senior homes and how people who had comorbid conditions, which we see in this graph also, that the comorbidities took over. So if you are somebody who already has a heart issue, who already suffers from lung ailments, who has probably kidney problems or obesity. These were all these, sort of comorbid situations or medical conditions, which either made you prone to more severe infection or were also in some ways proved to be fatal for many people. So what is the management that we usually see in a setting like this when we get COVID? Well, it's a virus. So a lot of times, antibiotics are not going to be given. They are given to people who are probably prone to superadded infections or who already have condition like asthma, where we know that somebody who has asthma will, be prone to not really getting rid of the secretions. And these people will accumulate the secretions, and then bacteria will grow on the secretions in the lungs, in the bronchioles. So they will be probably given antibiotics, but not everyone. And so symptomatic treatment is, of course, giving Tylenol, Motrin, Brufen, Aleve, just simple symptomatic. You have pain in your body, you have a headache, you take something like that. Now, doctors will be consulted, and they should be, because they want to rule out anything else which you are unable to see. So that is so important. Don't take your health, your body in your own hands like that, to that extent, especially, when there is that uncertainty of where it's leading to. So always getting yourself checked. If your COVID-19 test is positive, I would definitely recommend seeing your medical practitioner for that. And of course, we have a team of doctors, we have specialists, we have therapists. We also have people in the rehab, a paradigm where people need physiotherapy, especially if you have had pneumonia or some other pulmonary issues. You need to see your medical specialist, who will send you to a rehab. You will get some chest physio. You will be, taken to a facility where you'll be able to, literally make your lungs healthier through certain tools and certain machines. It'll be very beneficial for you. Now, you remember in COVID-19, a lot of people suffered from anxiety, depression. That was part and parcel of the disease. And I think it's important to also take care of your mental health, which is, besides taking care of your physical therapy. And then we always have the holistic approach of combining meditation. And I always tell people, for me, since I've moved from, the modern medicine paradigm more towards the holistic paradigm, I do feel that meditation is the key as compared to medication. So what are our takeaways? Let's look at that. You must understand the post-vaccination and long-term COVID-19 effects for effective management and support, and you must consult healthcare professionals and utilize all the resources which are there for you for recovery, whether it is in the medical field or its alternative field. And I know friends and family who have resorted to getting themselves, to an acupuncture specialist, or also to get massages, to go in with, working on nutrition only, meditation, learning how to do it. And since we had a lot of time, there was time to learn how to take care of yourself. And many people understood that, it was right on their face that, okay, we cannot leave 100% of our health and well-being in the hands of just what is available. We need to do some work ourselves and become in charge. So what is the role of nutrition in reducing COVID-19 and post-vaccine effects? Well, the father of medicine, Hippocrates, said, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine thy food." And I tell you, there is so much of wisdom in that. And the sooner you learn that, the better you'll be. Right now, the there's literally an epidemic of obesity globally. And it's so sad. I see younger kids, younger generations suffering from that. And it's horrible, that when you go for a walk in your neighborhood, and I want you to notice, you don't see children in the parks. You don't see kids on a bicycle. You don't see them climbing trees anymore. They're all stuck in their rooms with their PlayStations or their Game Boys or whatever technology that they can figure out, even if it's just a cell phone. And I think what you're doing is you're just exposing yourself to so much of electromagnetic radiation that it's going to take its toll on you. It's going to just deplete you of your energy. And guess what? When the energy goes down, the immune system goes down with that energy. And then you become more vulnerable to the viruses, bacteria, the parasites, and all that. So you must take a note of that. I remember our parents, when we were growing up, we were told to leave the house and go out and play. We obviously did our homework, we did our work at home, we did all that, but it was important to get out of the house and go into the fresh air. And that is something that you need to take a note of. So let's look at the role of nutrition now. So I said obesity becoming a pandemic, it will become a pandemic. I'm very sure of that. Right now it's an epidemic. But what do we see? Every third person in the US, every third person is obese. And, I was thinking that the obesity sort of exists more so in America and not in Europe or in Asia or South Asia. But guess what? The fast food industry has penetrated deeply into all those geographical areas. And now we are looking at those children also who are obviously not in their best nutritional status. So what are the important key vitamins? I want you to remember that. A, C, D, E, right? And in this group, you've got vitamin C that I think a lot of people are aware about. They will take it or they know that it's in fruits and veggies. But many people do not, they're not mindful of vitamin D that much. And I want to tell you, vitamin A, D, and E are so important for the biochemical reactions which happen in our body that you need to take it, and you need to take it usually from sources which are available to you in the form of food. And you see a beautiful picture of especially magnesium there, and magnesium, whether it's available in nuts, in bananas, in broccoli, avocado, zinc also. And during COVID, I remember that we definitely were prescribing zinc and vitamin D to be a major part of your diet. And that was the main reason. Zinc was there to give you your immune system a boost. And of course, vitamin D and C. C is there for immunity. D was also there because you need to make sure that the body processes which require vitamin D are there to help out. Now, immune function needs to be enhanced. It's important when you take all these vitamins and you go to the natural sources for that. And then antioxidants and inflammation. Now, every disease produces inflammation. You need to know that it starts off with inflammation and then it stays. And from acute inflammation, it becomes chronic. So we need to make sure that things which are acute need to be nipped in the bud, and we don't want to proceed to the chronic areas, right? So antioxidants are, like the name says, antioxidants. It's actually helping you in destroying these, basically these oxidants or the free radicals which are in your body. The oxidation causes a problem, an injury to your body. So these free radicals need to be counteracted with the antioxidants. All the damage caused during inflammation is because of those free radicals, and we need to literally minimize that. So these are the key antioxidants: vitamin E, selenium, polyphenols, and they are found in this beautiful picture you see. And look at it, look at the picture, because it'll stay in your mind. A lot of times the written stuff doesn't. People are a lot of times visual. So look at that. Try to incorporate a hand or fistful of nuts every day that you can just start eating. Make a salad, put the broccoli in that salad, put kale in it, put beets in it, and some beans and, mix it up with some parsley and any kind of green you love, and put some lemon juice on it and have it. It's wonderful. It's natural. Try to get organic food as much as you can, because the foods which are not organic, especially the ones which are exposed, like peaches and carrots and tomatoes, these need to be organic, because the skin otherwise has pesticides in them and you don't want them in your body. So the importance of balanced diet is right there. Are you eating a balanced diet? What is a balanced diet? Your plate must be full of colorful stuff. When we look at a plate, we want to make sure that there are proteins in it, which are lean proteins. We want to make sure that you have a colorful palette of veggies. You have nice leafy greens in there. You've also got carrots in there for vitamin A and antioxidants. You are eating grains. A lot of times, I think studies have shown us and research that we are lazy. We don't actually cook grains anymore because it takes time, but they are so important and vital for you, for especially when you get sick, for the recovery phase. And of course, healthy fats. Avocados have healthy fats, olive oil has healthy fats, and they are going to work with you for reducing inflammation, improving your immunity, making sure you do not move in the direction of long-term COVID. That's not what you want to do. And also making sure you don't get the side effects of the vaccine. So hydration, and to this big group participants, why don't you start writing and telling us about the fact that are you actually mindful of all that I'm telling you? Are you drinking enough water? Are you hydrating yourself when it gets really hot? These days, we are facing a global warming scenario. At least people who I know who are living in New York are giving me the feedback, and also people from where I come. My origins are from Pakistan, and I lived there for a big part of my life. And they are actually telling me that it's never been so warm. And all of a sudden, they're realizing the impact of global warming. So make sure when the sun is out there and it's hot, and you are actually drinking water, hydrating yourself. And water plus other beverages are, we always say have green tea. Coffee is good. A couple of, cups of that is fine. And even regular tea. And they say if you have tea without milk, it's good for you. Try to cut down on the dairy. So what are the takeaways from this part that we just learned? Okay, it's important to have a good nutritional status. Why? To help your immune system, to reduce inflammation, for overall health. And what is the approach for COVID-19 and how we can get rid of the long-term complications? The approach is to definitely follow a lifestyle where you are literally abiding by the principles of good nutrition. So that will help you in a huge way in combating viruses, bacteria, parasites, or any kinds of infections, and also any times when your immune system is depressed. It could be times when you are stressed out, when you have an exam, when you have a meeting, if you are in a financial sort of crux, if you are pregnant. There's so many aspects in our life when, stress just takes over. So good nutrition will be there to support you. Now, I do want to talk about stem cells in inflammation and repair. You must have heard about stem cell therapy and how important these cells are. But for people who are new to this concept or role of stem cells, I just want to tell you, if there was one thing that we need to repair and regenerate in our body, where we want to literally have healthy cells, healthy tissues, healthy organ systems, it's the stem cells. So when you were in your embryonic stage, really a tiny little baby cell or cells, you had a lot of stem cells, and they were strong and good cells. And now you came into this world. As we grow and age, the stem cells start reducing in number, and that's because of the replication of the cells. These are the cells which actually renew the DNA, and they need to be in good shape. If your stem cells are injured or they are not good, then you won't have healthy cells, and you will become more prone to mutation, more prone to getting severe illnesses. Now, these stem cells, how do we take care of them? That is important as well. Proper nutrition. Once again, the key part is nutrition, right? They are important for you, but they need food. And what happens is, like I just mentioned, that if you are having bleeding in your gums, you have pain in your right knee joint, you have some kind of, ailment already, maybe in the kidneys, and you are suffering from, a lot of injury to your kidney cells. Now, what will happen is, if your stem cells are working well, they have the brain or the mindset or the wisdom to travel to the place where they are required. So if it is the bleeding gums, they go there, they quickly repair. Stem cells will always differentiate into all the cells that you have in the body. If we have some issue in our in our brain, in our spinal cord, stem cells will differentiate into the nerve cells. If there's an issue with the heart, at that time there is an injury, stem cells move and go into the heart. This is like a pool of cells which differentiate and supply to the rest of the body, to the skin, to the heart, to the kidneys, to the liver, to the brain. And so you need to have a good pool of stem cells. They will be also working to reduce excessive inflammation in your body. And they are out there whenever we need them. They will be sent to the place, and they will differentiate accordingly. So look at what do they eat? What are the nutrients for them? It's the food you eat. Literally, the food you eat, the fruit you eat, the grains you eat is going to go into the body, and it becomes their food, and then they become stronger. So their needs are literally the same as your needs. Look at that. Vitamin A, C, D, E, minerals, zinc, and magnesium we talked about, and they are all protecting your body, literally. So if you are going to have amino acids, which are found in proteins, you will be nourishing your stem cells. If you are having a lot of vitamin E, selenium, polyphenols, you will be nourishing the stem cells. I love having a nice fruit salad, and I don't know how many people on this webinar love berries. So if you are that person who loves berries, you will never have a shortage of antioxidants, because you can just grab some blueberries, grab some raspberries, some blackberries, and you're going to put some lemon juice. You're going to, add some chia seeds if you want, flax seeds, that's for fiber, and have this nourishing fruit salad in the morning, and it satisfies you, it tastes great, and it's amazing for your stem cells. So then again, the diet you have, right? Your diet must be having all these elements that we already talked about. So again, I'm repeating the same thing, trying to stress the importance of food, fruit, vegetables, green tea, walnuts, fish, flax seeds, right? Probiotics are important for your digestive system. So you will have yogurt and kombucha, fermented stuff. There's a lot of research on adding fermented food to your diet. And I don't know how many people or participants in this webinar have started adding the fermented stuff in their diet. It's really good. I know people from Korea, from Asia, they make it a habit to really, have things like kimchi. You need to have a good calorie intake. A lot of the people now are going on diets, and they want to be super skinny, and they are cutting down on their calories. It's like, I'm on a 1,000 calorie diet these days. I'm just taking 1,200. And, they are young right now. And okay, if you can do it, I wouldn't recommend it in the long run, because guess what? As you age, you will realize that your body systems are becoming weaker and weaker, and you might be looking skinny, and you might be getting the approval of the Vogue magazine, Cosmos, and all the other friends in your groups. But guess what? Your internal system is not benefiting from that low calorie, because stem cells need food, stem cells need nourishment. And when you do what you do, you become malnourished and you start losing the important micronutrients, those micronutrients which are found in vitamins and in food and in supplements also. And you don't have them then in your body, and then your body processes cannot take place. Okay, so the dietary patterns, for me, it's the Mediterranean diet all the way. And I love it because it has olive oil, it has fish, it has the leafy greens, and I'm able to literally satisfy all my vitamin, mineral requirement from really going that route of following the Mediterranean diet. A lot of times I'll order tabbouleh, and I'll be ordering baba ganoush. I'll be, making some hummus myself. I'll also grill some fish and put some nice olive oil. Don't be hesitant. Don't be reluctant to put oil. Okay, it's okay. Some oils are good as well. And avocados, all the great stuff, right? And you can see in this beautiful picture how, you have olives right there. They're yummy. They're so good for you. Fatty fish. And now we are integrating all that we learned here, right? So we're talking about the importance of a balanced diet. Remove toxins from your body. How do you remove toxins from your body? You reduce eating processed foods. Remember, for people who've heard me, always shop the walls. You're going to shop the walls, because in any supermarket or a grocery store, all the unhealthy stuff is right in those aisles which are in the middle. So go around the perimeter of that and reduce eating processed foods and also trans fats and sugars. Please remember one thing. Sugar is in everything. Sometimes when I tell people that sugar is in meat as well and is in fish, they're like, what? We didn't know that. So remember, everything has sugar. We need to cut down on that. There's a huge epidemic of diabetes also that's just out there. So hydration, we talked about. What are your key the takeaways? Stem cells, what do they need? Good nutrition. They need hydration. They need to see you happy as well. Happy people have happy stem cells, which means happy bodily functions. So this is something that I love talking about. Your body is your house. And what does it teach us? It teaches us the interconnectedness of all our bodily systems and how they are all working together. So when you take the example of a house, and I'm sure there might be some real estate people as participants, people who are selling houses, you know the difference between a good house and a bad, right? You enter a house and there's like a water leakage everywhere. The roof is not there, or the roof is leaking. The plumbing doesn't work. The windows are broken. And there is a security hazard to this house. So I want you to imagine that house which has all disrupted system. And now let's give the analogy of a body which again has plumbing issues, which means your gut is not absorbing food. It's not eliminating properly. So no matter how expensive food you eat, how many supplements you take, it's not really making a difference. It's just coming in from one end and leaving the body from another without giving you any benefit. Just like that house which is leaking, and then you need to fix the plumbing. You need to fix the windows. So if your circulatory system is not working effectively, do you think the blood is going to flow? It won't. The blood is never going to flow, just like those faulty windows where, sometimes there's excessive circulation, sometimes there's no circulation. And we do need circulation. You need to open those windows at times to let the fresh air in. So that analogy of proper nutrition, proper optimal functioning, we are giving it with that house. You need that in place. So we'll start with a little, I'm just going to zoom across all the systems so that you can get a little view of what we are. Okay, so this is the circulatory system. Look at that, veins, arteries, and they are all connected because you have these blood vessels carrying blood with oxygen to the body and to all the areas and all the systems of the body, which is the red. And then you have the dirty blood from those same organ systems moving with carbon dioxide back to the heart so that the blood can be cleaned up, right? And this system is also maintaining the temperature of your body. Now, when it's supporting the muscles, the brain function, the temperature regulation, this is a very important system. It's providing blood to the brain. And it always does, even if it has issues inside here in all the other areas, the brain has to get blood. So it will compensate, or even like, at the sake of maybe destroying your liver or your heart function, it will go there and give oxygenated blood to the brain. So what does it need? It needs omega-3 fatty acids, the good fats, which are found in fish, flaxseed, walnuts, antioxidants, vitamin C and E, and also minerals found in bananas and nuts like potassium and magnesium. So I urge everyone that if you're in a hurry in the morning before going to office, can you take a banana with you? That doesn't take a lot of effort. Keep some bananas in your car, for those times when your sugar level goes down. Don't go without food and go at a level where you are now. I tell people we have a fuel gauge in the body from 0 to 10. Don't arrive at 0. It's empty. It's not good. Just make sure you start eating when you're good and hungry, which means you're on 3 or 4, and then stop eating at 7. If this gauge is between 0 and 10, you will never go to 0 or 10. You will never fill up yourself too much or be empty. You will start eating when you're on 3 and you will stop eating when you're on 7. Okay, respiratory system, again, working in close coordination with the circulatory system. The lungs, airways, they all need help. They need their food. What do they need? Omega-3 fatty acids and oxidants, vitamin C in citrus fruits. Look at the digestive system. The job is to break down all that you eat and then to make it so easy to absorb. And then it gets absorbed, and then all the stuff you don't need gets eliminated. It has a very big job, and it's the only system which is not protected by a shield, bones, or anything. It's just lying there. So it's really prone to bacteria, to viruses, because it has no protection. It needs a lot of help because it's directly connected to the immune system. So what are your needs? You need fiber. You need to make this food go forwards. If you don't eat fiber, which is present in fruits and veggies and whole grains, you will get constipated. You also need probiotics. Why do you need probiotics? You need probiotics because that is the food of the good bacteria, the microbiome sitting in your gut. That needs nourishment. Not all bacteria are bad. The good bacteria help you in making sure that the food finally, once digested, it moves into the intestines where it is going to get absorbed in the blood. So you need these things. So start taking probiotics, yogurt, fermented foods, musculoskeletal system. I think the most ignored system, if I may say. I travel a lot, and when I'm traveling, I notice how many people are on wheelchairs. And I once asked these people, who are wheeling people into the plane, and I got a little dynamics of which particular demographic is making it to the wheelchair. Unfortunately, I hate to break the news, more women are ending up in wheelchairs. Older people, of course, but also ethnicities matter. South Asian people somehow are on those wheelchairs. And I thought about it, and I think I got the answer when I met the doctor of vitamin D. We call him the father of vitamin D. I met him at Andrew Weil's conferences on nutrition when I traveled to Arizona at the Integrative Medicine College. And he said, of course, we cover our bodies a lot. In South Asia, there'll be been wearing a lot of clothes all the time, not exposed to vitamin D that much. So he told us that you must sit in the sun for 15 minutes in the summer and for at least 30 minutes in the winter. And he said, why are you guys wearing sunglasses all the time? And we said, well, we want to protect our eyes from cataract. And he goes, I don't think so. According to him, the sunblock should be out, the sunglasses should be out. That's what he told us. I mean, I think I still wear the sunblock. I'm sorry, I've got the South Asian skin, a lot of pigmentation happening as soon as I go out. So I protect myself with the sunblock. Sunglasses are not really. I don't think I really, probably because I'm never carrying a pocketbook. I learned that also, that for my musculoskeletal system, I cannot carry heavy bags all the time. And I remember my sister going to a doctor once saying, Doctor, I think I'm getting a heart attack. And the doctor said, why do you say that? And she said, I have pain in my left arm and I feel it's really heavy and it's really causing a lot of anguish. So the doctor goes, can I see your bag? And so she had her pocketbook there. So he holds that and it weighed a ton. Oh my God. And he said, I don't think it's a heart attack, it's a bag attack. You need to reduce the stuff that you have in your pocketbook or your bag. And so from that day onwards, I realized I'm not going to carry bags and all these things. I don't want them. So I carry a wallet or I'll carry my phone and I kind of sneak in my credit card somewhere there and my driving license, and that's it. Because I also once developed bursitis. Long time back, I got bursitis and I was at a rehab place getting physiotherapy. I was able to get 18 sessions, but the physiotherapist told me that, even if you hadn't gotten the 18, you would have been fine after 8 or 9 because your body heals itself. And I said, yes, okay, that's so good to know that my body can heal itself. But he said, while I was there, I saw who's coming into this rehab place for physiotherapy. Guess what? It was mostly women. And why? Because women carry a lot. We carry a baby. We are putting stuff in the kitchen and those, put the shopping in all those, like sort of your cabinets, and then the groceries, and then putting them in the car. And a lot of carrying is happening. So most of the women at that rehab place had shoulder issues. Men had knee joint issues. Why? They play sports. And so the knee joint made sense. So please take care of your musculoskeletal system. You want it to be efficient because that's the system that carries the rest of your tissues, bodily systems. And you need to get your calcium and vitamin D in. And, I'm a huge, huge sort of supporter of eating. And so, of course, your protein is so important for your muscles health. So protein is in lean meat and beans and legumes. Please cook beans and legumes. Don't leave them out of your diet just because it takes longer to cook them. Take out time for yourself. You are the most valuable person to you. And you need to know that. The sooner the better. And guess what? That's not called selfishness. There's another word for it. It's called self-care. Okay, nervous system, so important, right? It controls all your functions, your heart rate, your regulation of all your muscle movements, and also your endocrine system. And the needs, again, so important to have a good nervous system. A lot of times anxiety takes over, depression takes over, your nervous energy goes down. It's that phenomena where certain people are so strong mentally and their nervous system keeps them going. And I see that in sports. Some athletes are not that strong and they suffer from that. So vitamin B is so important for your nervous system, and magnesium, which can be found in grains, leafy greens, nuts. I think by the time we finish this webinar, you guys your brainwash systems would have been replaced with what I've just told you, and you're going to rush to get that salad in your body, or maybe even a vegetable juice if you really want it. And I have a great recipe for a vegetable juice. Anybody, if you guys want it, it's coming to you directly from Dr. Samina through this webinar. And it's so amazing. So you're going to take 4 to 5 carrots, Write it down. You're going to take 4 to 5 carrots. You're going to take 3 to 5 sprigs of fresh parsley. You're going to take a handful of spinach, one large handful, and you're going to take 1/4 head of a cabbage. You will take, again, a large handful of kale. You will take 1 beet, which will still have its top, right? Let the top be there, the greens. And now you're going to cut up all this stuff, break it down, put it into your food processor. You're going to make a juice out of it. You will put 1 clove of garlic. And you know why? Because guess what? That 1 clove of garlic has 6 tastes. Even if you were unable to take in all the 6 tastes, all those people who know about Ayurvedic medicine, remember Ayurveda says you need to eat food which has all the 6 tastes. But if you can't put all those 6 tastes together on a plate, 1 clove of garlic will do. What are the 6 tastes? There is the sweet, the salt, the sour, the astringent, the pungent, and the bitter. So those are the 6 tastes. You need to incorporate them in your diet. Immune system, the most important one, right? And for people with COVID-19 infections and all, they realized their immune system was not strong. So their defense against infections was low, and they need to build up their immunity. And they need to take vitamin C, E, zinc, magnesium, selenium, and they need to take protein as well, because proteins have all your requirement for amino acids. You need that. Why do you need the amino acids? Because you want to build up your immune cells. You want to build up your beta cells, your T cells, your natural killer cells, NK cells. They need to be built up because they are your fighters. If your army is weak, it cannot fight the enemy, the virus or the bacteria. Okay, the endocrine system, all your hormones, women can relate to this. This is where all your metabolism, growth, and development happens, right? And it's a big role. Your reproductive health is important. Your stress, the endocrine system has to be strong for the stress response. And if you want your hormones to work well, and a lot of times women ask me that question, please have a balanced diet and add iodized salt and seafood to your diet for this. Takeaways again, that all the body systems are interconnected. You need to have balanced nutrition to support these systems. So have a diet which is written, again, repeating it, vitamins, minerals, proteins, fats, fiber. Once again, vitamins, minerals, proteins, healthy fats, and fiber. Okay, now this house again requires all this to fight the disease. Now, this was your paradigm of what we have available right now in our life. But let me tell you, unfortunately, I hate to break this news, the food that you and I were supposed to eat to really nourish these systems does not exist anymore. Unfortunately, the greed took over. The greed took over the food industry. The greed took over the agricultural industry, the farmers. And what happened is that in quest for more money and for more production, and also maybe the population crisis was there, they started cutting corners and they started then compromising on the quality of food. So what you get now is loaded with pesticides. It is also bad ethics in farming, where if you remember, I talk about the fact that crops have to have rotation. You cannot keep planting the same crop in that soil and expecting, all the micronutrients or minerals to go into that food, because that soil gets depleted. It needs to be, you have to move to a fresher soil, or you need to replenish those nutrients, which is not happening. So then the food you eat is empty calories. It does not have those important minerals and vitamins that we were talking about. So Life Farm has the solution. And I'm on the medical scientific advisory board of this company. And I have to tell you, I moved from a world of chemicals, a world of, medicinal stuff, into a life where I'm trying to keep the toxicity down to the best of my ability. It's not easy because your environment is full of toxins. There's a lot of pollution. There's the cell phones, electromagnetic radiation. Even the clothes we are wearing right now were washed with detergents, which have chemicals. The hair dyes we put in our hair have chemicals. The makeup products we use, and the petroleum, in many countries, the third world countries, the oil is not, the gas is not unleaded. So you are dealing with food which is toxic. You're dealing with products you're using, your cleaning products or other things, and environmental toxins which are full of toxins, making sure that you get all these diseases. What is the point here? The point here is that we are living in a toxic environment, and we need to protect ourselves with some kind of shield to the best of our ability. And we have to do it ourselves. Nobody else will do it. And I always tell people one thing: when you do something, something happens. When you do nothing, nothing happens. So you have to, after this webinar ends, make a resolution, take your first step. There's again a famous saying that the journey of 1,000 steps or 1,000 miles, is it? It just begins with that first step, right? So you need to take that first step. And here we have Immune and Laminine. And I've been taking these products myself and encourage you to do that too. Immune is a product which basically has vitamin C in a stable state, in a way where it can be absorbed to the best of your ability that the body has. They have actually got this in a way that it is not acidic. So you know that a lot of vitamin C's can be acidic to the stomach, causing a lot of damage to it. But this particular vitamin C is stable, so it's going to not get really dispersed in the stomach. It goes to the intestines where it can be absorbed in a maximum way. And Immune also has the mushrooms, reishi, maitake, turkey tail, which are so full of antioxidants, which you need. And we've been talking about that a lot. And we have camu camu, ashwagandha, acerola, sea buckthorn, and also pomegranate. Now, this is a herbal and botanical blend that Immune has, which you need to take. And it's supporting all your life processes, right? And then we are going to combine it with Laminine. Laminine, most of the people on this webinar are familiar with. This is our flagship product. Laminine helps you with your stamina, with your sleep, with your sexual health. It also promotes, it actually works in such a way that your stress levels go down, because it's helping you in making serotonin go, or serotonin regenerate. And so we stay in a happy mood. We are not depressed. We are not sad. Anxiety and stress also makes the immune system go down. So they work very well. Where Laminine is the fertilized avian egg extract, which has the fibrogen growth factor 2. Fibrogen growth factor 2 is the one that we need. Why? That goes to the stem cells and gives them that signal to regenerate, to repair, and go to places where stem cells are most needed. So Laminine also has phytoproteins. It has the marine extract, it has the marine proteins, phytoproteins, and the egg. When you put all that together, you got a combination of 22 amino acids, the full chain. Now, why do you need this full chain? Because this becomes like a big adaptogen. It goes and programs your stem cells to work effectively. I think there is no other product in my book, at least, which works as well as Laminine. I've tried it a lot. I travel, like I told you. Sometimes I feel like my body is getting tired and drained, and I'll pop like 2 to 4 Laminine, and it gets me through my travel, through my my seminars. So we did an interesting study here, and it's interesting to see, if you see that when Laminine is taken with our flagship products, you see in 12 weeks, that's less than 3 months, literally you're talking like a 90-day window, Your white blood cell count increases 29% and your B cells count improves or increases 61%. What is your immune system? Your immune system is made up of white blood cells. These are your fighters, right? And so B cells are literally put under the category of, like, you know, when you talk about white blood cells, you have a lot of cells. You've got lymphocytes, you've got basophils, eosinophils, monocytes. They are all like a big enemy, protector, or call it your soldiers, right? And lymphocytes are B lymphocytes, T lymphocytes, and the natural killer cells. So it's so important for your lymphocytes to be there to combat inflammation whenever there is an issue. Now, taking 2 immune and 2 laminin per day, this is where we are at. And this is researched. When you take 2 immune and 2 laminin per day, you will support your immune health, and you will start seeing that you're not really falling ill. And I experimented that myself. I used to go to and travel to Pakistan, and unfortunately, Pakistan is a hub of infectious diseases. And as soon as I landed there, I knew that my throat was, I would get coughing, I would get food poisoning. So in a way, my immune system got depressed anytime I went there. But since I've been taking Laminin, I started figuring out that my health stayed good. I wasn't coughing, and I was literally feeling at the top of my health. And I gave immune and Laminin to some of my clients in Pakistan. And, I get an interesting feedback from this guy who said, Samina, my office people are saying that I used to climb the stairs and kind of stand and pant and pause. And now, since I've been taking Laminin, I'm kind of running on the staircase. So something has happened. And I said, yes, your stamina is back, your stem cells got rejuvenated, and now you have a stronger body and a better immune system as well. So, well, I have to confess that I didn't stop at just taking Laminin. I am somebody who takes Re5 because I believe in that model of the house. And God bless Dr. Andujar. He's the one who came up with that analogy of saying that your body is your house. So he gave us that analogy, and that's the first time I heard from him about how he connected Re5 to the house. And he said, okay, you've got digestive, which is, of course, a product by Life Farm, and digestive has prebiotic, probiotic, and digestive enzymes. And it is the one that is responsible for the plumbing of the house. So, okay, plumbing of the house, that means also my digestive health. Makes sense. I need to have something to support my gut, because all these years, and I've been in this science and field, I've been in the medical field and health and wellness for over 4 decades. And I have to tell you, my learnings are that the gut is the most important system in the body. Please take good care of it. If the gut does not work well, all the other systems collapse. So I started taking digestive. Okay, the second one is immune, which is in this. So immune is the security guard of the house. All right, you need a security guard. We're not living in a very safe world anymore. So my body needs a security guard too. Why? I have to protect myself from the bacteria, from the invaders, the viruses, the parasites, and I need to have something like a big shield. Immune is going to provide me that. Number 3, they have 2 Laminin in Re5. That makes it 4 now, right? Digestive, 1, immune, and 2 Laminin. So the Laminin, overall health. It's like the paint of the house. The house has to look good from outside and inside. So that's Laminin, making sure it's nice and shiny. So what is that in my body? I have good stamina. I sleep well, I have good sexual health, and I need to also be stress-free. So that is me with all that. And now I'm still left with 1. Let's not forget omega. Omega plus 3. Omega has omega-3 fatty acids. It has vitamin K2. And omega is the one that's going to make sure that my, the house, the circulation of the house is good. Let the air come in when you want and let the air stay out when you want. And how do I do that with my body? I want to make sure with vitamin K2, which is part of the omega 3 plus, that the plaques in my blood vessel, which always are there because that is the usual phenomena, deposition of cholesterol and plaques, narrowing of the blood vessels, and then ultimately blood pressure and maybe a heart attack. So I want to make sure that this calcium plaque, this calcium gets removed from my blood vessel and goes back to the bone where it's needed, goes back to the teeth where it's needed. It should not be in my blood vessels. So that's the magic of, of omega. And omega is also filled up with coenzyme Q10. I need that antioxidant because I want to fight that oxidative stress. So, and it does have the fertilized extract of the egg. So that is Re5. Everything is there, right? It's a packaged, beautiful package, helps me when I travel. I put it in my suitcase. It doesn't weigh too much. And after 90 days, look at that magic. 71% improved cholesterol, 100% improved triglyceride, 85% improved sugar maintenance, and 86% improved cortisol maintenance. So here you have now something in the form of Re5, which is going to regenerate, revive your body, your mind, and make sure that your total lipids are balanced, your sugar is balanced, and you won't have stress. Now remember, people who got COVID were suffering from chronic diseases, which we call the lifestyle diseases. And how do those lifestyle diseases come and become a part of us? Guess what? We get the sugar, so we get diabetes. We will not take care of our stress, so we will suffer from all kinds of ailments, whether it's autoimmune disorder, whether it's cancer. Then again, when you don't take care of your diet and your nutrition, your cholesterol levels go high, there comes the heart disease. And if you remember that people who died more were the ones with comorbid conditions, who had diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, they had autoimmune disorders, they had cancers and obesity. And here we have something which can make sure that you don't go on that path. And well, here we are to the Q&A then. If we can go to the question answers and take a look at that. So we had actually shared a link with our members, our IBOs, and we had said, can you send us your questions? And, because we didn't want to waste time. We wanted to be very clear that we've already gone, over an hour, but, I want to make sure that this information reaches you. Today has to be the most important webinar I have ever given. And I'm so excited and so delighted that over 113 participants are part of this webinar. Thank you so much for sticking around, for staying, because many of you are in time zones where it might be very late. And I'm deeply grateful to you for, being here and, being a part of this webinar. And I hope it was beneficial to you as well. So I have a question of whether, if this is from people who've had issues, they have developed certain ailments after COVID vaccination and COVID infection, and they want to know if the supplements are good for them. So one question is about somebody who has joint problems, knee and hip joint problems. So if they are having these, I would like to tell them that there's a clinical study which has shown that the C-reactive protein, which is an indicator of joint inflammation, it usually goes high when they draw blood from you and they check it for the C-reactive protein, CRP. If there is inflammation in your body, it will show in that blood test, right? So they have seen that people who took 2-laminine daily and they had these ailments like osteoarthritis, pain in the joints, their inflammation got significantly reduced. The CRP level came down. Then we have another question about somebody who's having hair loss post COVID vaccine or post-COVID. And now Omnia has shown that it has the vitamins and the minerals you need or which are necessary for improving your hair follicle and your hair health. And this is researched. Then I have another question for somebody who is still struggling with digestive and gut issues. So I would like to recommend Life Farms Digestive. Please make that a part of your health and your well-being. I have some people who are ordering digestive and immune since some years now, and they are so satisfied with digestive immune. They take that together and they are seeing a difference. Now, if somebody has an overactive or an underactive thyroid gland, please take Laminine and Omnia, because these two together are really good for thyroid health. And yes, so that's the question there. And I have another question where there is this person who's written that they went through the COVID infection and their blood oxygen saturation was 92%. They got admitted in a hospital. The fever was 38 degrees. They got bilateral pneumonia and spent 10 days in the hospital. They recovered. But after 3 months, the area between their right shoulder blade and spine started to hurt. And the pain is recurrent. It's just there. And it just starts out of the blue. So this person is treating it with Selnergy cream. I have that. So we do have Selnergy cream. I love this cream, and it's a new thermal wave technology that has been used by Life Farm in this. And we had recommended that do the cream and also use the device, which is the Selnergy tool together. But this person has said that it doesn't go away completely. The pain goes away after the application, but comes back after a few hours. So after reviewing their question, I would like to suggest put the cream in the area where the pain is, which is your right shoulder blade and your spine, and then hold the tool, the Selnergy device, or the tool about let's say maybe 12 inches away, and then keep it there and start that on a setting where it's a little stronger. The speed is strong and the heat is strong, and leave it for 10 minutes up and down. You're going to go up and down on the spine and that area of the spine, and you should see good effects. I would also like to suggest to this person that you should take Immune, Laminine, and Omnia together. And I'm very, very hopeful that your nerve, which has been damaged, or the area where the nerves are, it will repair and it will give you the antioxidants you need to feel better. And I also want to tell people who are suffering from the long COVID and all these effects, especially with the muscle aches and all, and also the same complaint that this person had, that remember one thing, that when you go through these viral infections, the viral load, it takes its toll, and it can actually, injure the muscle fibers, the nerves, and it can cause you to get all these effects that you are right now experiencing. But it's not to say that you cannot get rid of them. You can try and use all the tools you have and then use them to your advantage. Your nutrition, your supplements, the Selnergy cream, the Selnergy wellness tool, and I do have one last question, and where somebody says that, they said that the instructions on the Selnergy device says that people who have high blood pressure should not use it. I think that safety precaution is just there, because you still need, more studies. But I would encourage people who have such as, ailments like these, like they are suffering from blood pressure, they must see their physician and then take, recommendation from the physician as well. You can use more than one tool to heal yourself. You can take the support of the medical science, the allopathic, the alternative, the herbal, and these are just different tools that you are using to help yourself, because all these different modalities. They are actually out there as sciences to help you, but you need to make that decision of who you want to go to. So thanks to Winston, I have this beautiful story here. It's really good. So Sahil Bloom, uh, actually, Winston gave us this, and I have kept it with me, and I wanted to share it with all the participants. So Winston got this from Sahil Bloom. He's an investor, entrepreneur, author, and content creator. So he says, today is my 32nd birthday. Over the last month, I asked several 90-year-olds what advice they would give to their 32-year-old selves. And these are the 7 things that he has written. So let's go through these. This is life advice. It's like putting everything together. It's like a 360-degree approach to life. So I'd like to end my talk with this. Now and then, break out the fancy china and drink the good wine for no reason at all. So a lot of us are guilty of saving those wine bottles or saving that special china, special tea set for some special occasion. And we keep saving things, and we don't realize that the most important moment is right now. This is the most important moment. This is what you have, strength in. The future you have no control over, the past you have no control over. So make the best of your present moment and go for it. Have a good time in this now period. Number 2, dance at weddings until your feet are sore. Yes, enjoy yourself. Life is short. Don't be stoic. Have a good time also. You deserve it. Number 3, tell your partner you love them every night before falling asleep. Someday you'll find the other side of the bed empty and wish you could. Sure enough, I read this and I think I'm actually acting upon this. And I guess Winston Salman is happy that you sent this to me. Okay, so number 4, don't fear sadness as it tends to sit right next to love. So, the up wave and the down wave, and then the up wave and the down wave. With every hardship, there is ease. That's in some scriptures, right? So the good times with the bad time, you have to swallow that. Love will be there, that beautiful, happy emotion. And then there'll be sadness also. Every day people are born and people die, and all that is coexisting. It's not as if it's one and then the other. They coexist, and don't fear that. Never raise your voice except for at a ball game. So this is also about us letting go, feeling relaxed, Don't be so uptight. Come on. I remember Dr. Deepak Chopra saying, don't be the oak tree, be the reed. Because when the wind blows, the reed bends. It doesn't have an ego, you see. It's okay. You can win the game, no problem. Whereas the oak tree doesn't want to bend. So what happens is when the storm comes, it breaks. And that's the lesson here. Now, do not do one good deed every single day, but never tell anyone about it. This is again, focusing on the now. You have power in the now. You do not have power in the future or the past. So use that power. Use that power. Drink the green tea. Put that in your body. Take that action. Nothing happens when you don't take that action. So do a good deed every day. And it doesn't matter. It could be small or big. Even a smile, even a smile, it doesn't cost too much. They say that more muscles are used for frowning than are for smiling. So why do you want to frown? Okay, and the last one, treat your body like a house. A house you have to live in for 70 years. And that's such a good advice for all the 32-year-olds on this webinar. Come on. I mean, I don't know if I have 70 years left in me. I just told you I turned 60. So I still want to treat my body at 60 as if I want to live for another 70 years, maybe not in this planet, maybe another space, but I do want to treat my body in a good way. It's the only one I have. I want to take good care of it. So, okay, thank you so much. All my love and all my hugs. I love you all. And I really appreciate your participation. Thanks for joining me. I hope you will act on some of the stuff I told you. I hope you'll pass on this information also to as many people as you can, because remember, you have that power.